Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. So I'm here again with James and Sophie from Needy Cat Games.
Hello.
Hi.
You may have seen our unboxing of the Kickstarter version. However, if you decided for whatever strange reason not to bag at the Kickstarter, you can see this wonderful copy available at retail. So we're here to unbox it today, see what's inside and see what you can get in your retail copy of Hellboy the board game.
So what's nice is, as is always with Mantic, there's a full retail support plan for
Yep.
this. It's not just a one and done Kickstarter.
No.
This game is going to hit retail. There's expansions coming out. There's all sorts of stuff down the line. So I know I've seen a lot of people myself who have gone, oh, we should have got the Kickstarter. They've now seen when the game's gone. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming out. You're not quite going to get everything you got on the Kickstarter because there's some stuff that's very exclusive. Or,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it you can still get if you go and see Mantic at shows, or you can use Mantic points.
Yeah, there's going to be some kind of sort of show exclusives or annual bits.
I think the important thing to stress is this box is awesome.
It is awesome.
I'm loving what's in here.
Well, I've not seen what's inside. Have you seen what's inside yet?
No, well, I saw a very brief kind of go through, but not properly.
Cool. So, what we'll do is, we will start off. First of all, you'll have seen the very beautiful Hellboy artwork on there.
Yeah.
With the kind of spot varnish, I think we said it was, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, so what was interesting with this was the original plan was we got a piece of lovely artwork done by Mike Mignola, which was exclusive to the Kickstarter. And you can still see it on there. It's actually kind of in the background of the shot. It's like a faded out grayscale kind of thing. But we realised that when this is on a retail shelf, it needs to really pop and stand out. And that does that really nicely.
It does.
The big...
There's no mistaking Hellboy. Yeah.
No.
And the artwork is still in there on the cover of the rulebook.
Brilliant. So, inside...
Is it got a good smell? That's it's the new box smell there.
Yeah. I want to put the lid on and store it for a little bit longer. So, we've got the player cards here.
Yeah, so when you play a game of Hellboy, you'll be controlling one of these 4 agents in the core box. Yeah. And every player gets their own agent board. They've all got like unique abilities. And a bunch of rules that make each one play very differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've got Hellboy, we've got Liz Sherman, we've got Johan Kraus, and we have Abe Sapien.
Yeah.
So you can play as one of or as all 4 of those characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hellboy's like your very sort of tanky, punchy character. He just gets in, no nonsense. Liz just sets the whole board on fire. At least when I play her.
Yeah, that's fair. Abe is your shooty character. And
he's a bit nimble as well, kind of nimble, dodgy, that sort of thing.
And Johan Kraus is your oddball, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, he's weird. He's the weird character. He's investigative, but also he can kind of disappear and drift around the board. And,
I played Johan when we did our playthrough. Yeah, it was a cool character to play.
Absolutely.
Then we have sort of a tutorial. I read this first booklet, which kind of takes you through.
It plays you through like the first few rounds of the game. It sets it up with a couple of agents, so you play through with Hellboy and Abe. If you want, you can sit at the table and play this with your group. What I would recommend is the person who's going to be reading the rules anyway. Let's face it, we all know there's one person in the gaming group. The person's going to be learning the rules and teaching everyone else. You go play through this yourself, and you'll be fully equipped to teach everyone else how the game works.
Yeah,
we should probably say it is 1 to 4 players, isn't it? Yeah, so you can
play. Yeah, you can play solo. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you play solo, we recommend you control 2 agents.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it can get very difficult. As soon as you get knocked down, boom, game over.
Yeah.
But you can play up to 4 players.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people on the Kickstarter asking for 5 and 6 player expansions. We didn't put it in very deliberately. So I'll head this question off here because it's a game that provokes a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
Because the way your agent phase works, as people will know if they've watched our playthrough video, it's not like you go my turn, your turn, your turn. Yeah. It's all happening at once. So you've got to discuss what you're doing.
Yeah.
And with more than 4 people, it just breaks down, and you end up with like different conversations happening. We should do this. We should do this, and then you never know.
You miss things, and you always get it where when you've got more than 4 is like the maximum size for a conversation.
Yeah.
And then if you get 5 or 6, people pair off or go into little groups, and then what happens is people aren't fully aware of what's going on, and then that doesn't work as well for a cooperative game like this.
Mechanically it works, but socially it doesn't. So it's like we've entered into a weird philosophical realm of game design here.
That tipping over into an hour game takes 3 hours because we're just sort of spitballing different ideas.
But I know for a fact that someone out there is going to be trying it, And hey, if you want to, you go for it.
Give it a go, if you've got a spare few hours, So we've got that inside. We've then got a nice leaflet from Mantic talking about Star Saga and Dungeon Saga. Should you like that kind of dungeon crawl?
If you like kind of a bunch of adventurers going through a thing.
Yeah.
If this, then that.
Absolutely.
Then we've got Hellboy the board game, the rule book, which I have to say is a really nice size. It's not There's enough in here where it's breaking down into basic principles. There's a play in the game section. I think I saw something that was kind of additional rules, so extra bits and pieces.
We took an approach with it where it's like, it starts off with like, here's the stuff you need to know to understand the rule book.
Yeah.
The meat of the actual rules themselves is actually not that massive.
Yeah.
You'll read through the book once, and then you'll probably refer to the middle, 10 pages maybe at most. And it's what's lovely is through playtesting we've seen people don't tend to need the rulebook much. They'll use the reference sheet on the back quite a lot, but the game is straightforward.
Reference sheet, or I should just say, is always a good. It's sorely missed from too many games, and also page numbers as well. So that's
a really important thing, I think.
Yeah, it's nice to have the reference. It's even better when it tells you where to look up the detail for it as well. So great for that. I just mentioned there as well, when we did the playthrough, I think after we'd had a turn each kind of thing, and then it just became quite natural. Like it was more a case of I want to do this kind of thing.
Precisely.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did that we were quite passionate about was when we did the playtesting was being really careful to make sure we were watching people playing the game and seeing what they intuitively wanted to do next. Yeah. Because sometimes if you've got sort of like a fiddly rule and people just guess something else, sometimes that something else is actually a stronger thing. So we've tried to make the game really intuitive and it, like as you said, if this then that, like if the rule for fighting someone is this, then that's probably the same for shooting, and it's probably the same for making a defense roll.
But it means that you're spending less time as a player figuring out how to play, and you're more time discussing what you're going to do next. And that's it. You're
playing the game, not learning the rules. Then we have a nice big huge pile of tiles and boards, and quality, exactly the same quality as the Kickstarter. It's exactly the same. The board thickness is more than needed, I would say. They're really nice.
If you're a retail purchaser, you will get a sheet that is not in the Kickstarter. You'll get an additional thing, because basically the Kickstarter edition includes a bunch of plastic tokens for things.
Yes. This
version, you get this, which is basically it's your fire, your clues, your insight markers, all the things that are included as plastics in the
So in a never before seen thing, we have a retail exclusive.
And what I like is that it's a sheet that didn't need to be this big. They put a nice cool bit of Hellboy on there, and flip it over, you've got Liz in the back as well.
Got Liz.
Liz near all the fire.
It's because it's fire tokens, so you
it's
can't
awesome.
Have it. But and again, these are in that really nice quality. They're very, very thick and chunky. So you're not gonna I don't think you're missing out by having counters, because they're just as significant. So
that's that. You got all the stuff here. You got like your damage counters. You've got your backup agent tokens.
Got your trigger and reaction markers, destruction counters. Everything's there.
There's a lot of interesting little bits to play around with. It's quite cool.
Nice, very nice.
There you
go. Then once you lift that off, he says try not to snap the plastics of the one and only version.
How nice is this? The tray. It feels like a luxury board game.
It does.
It's a chunky box. It's got the vacuum form tray. I don't know about you, but I love figuring out where stuff goes at the end of a game. Where does it go back in? Where does it all fit? So you've got your four heroes there. You've got Rasputin, who's one of your bosses, who appears in two different modes. You've got Rasputin or Ghost Rasputin. They both drop at different times. You've got 12 frog monsters and 6 frog swarms. And then a whole load of these custom dice that we've made for the game.
I love those dice.
They're really cool. And they're just, what, I like that. They're a nice size. Rolling a handful of these feels really like I can't get them out of the box. You can, I don't know, it's that sort of, they've got a chunk to them,
Yeah. And I like the colours, it goes from like yellow, which is like your lowest level, to like red, which is your sort of toughest, and black, which is like your super duper. And they've all been made colourblind friendly as well, with the different symbols as well as the different colours, so that you should be able to distinguish.
We've put a lot of thought into the little things in this game. It's
comes across really strongly, actually. That it's not just we've done the rules, let's get it out. It's the attention to detail of all the little bits.
We've been working on it for a long time, and we spent a lot of time listening to feedback from people that backed the Kickstarter. Because we put a lot of the rules up as a beta downloadable thing, so we had a huge load of feedback from there. It's been a real experience, the whole thing.
Bit of a passion project.
Absolutely.
Oh yes,
Next up, we have a couple of the bosses that you will fight. So go on, I'll let you take
that.
So one of the things that's quite cool with the case files is you don't know which bosses you're facing when you go into them necessarily. There's a couple of interesting surprises in them. You might think you're going to hit one thing and something else comes out, And either way, when these hit the table, because they're so big, They are quite a moment.
Yeah.
They're quite cool.
And I think the thing is that they're such good quality and they're so beautifully made that really impresses upon the game, because when you're looking at it, you're like, actually that thing looks really intimidating and it's running at me. Like they're such nice pieces in of themselves and they're really impactful. Like
I cannot wait to keep failing to get around to painting these. That's my ambition.
But they've got so much detail on them that they'll be a pleasure to have a go at. If you are the painting kind, which I am in theory, but
We all are in theory.
theoretical painters.
Yes,
Absolutely.
but they're beautiful, and you will definitely be impressed with the quality of them. Because the plastic's nice. It's a nice sort of solid plastic as well. It's not bendy. It's not rubbery.
It's very similar to the Walking Dead figures. That's a nice, very paintable. It strikes a nice balance between it. It's a board game component, but you can paint it as though it were a war gaming miniature.
Yeah. And then last in the box, we have this rather nice tray, which has what we got here. These are a mixture of the Deck of Doom.
Yep.
And we also have some kind of
enemy cards.
Enemy cards, yep.
And your boss behaviour cards are in there too. And again, these will all fit once they've been sleeved.
Genius.
Genius. And there's plenty of space for expansions as well.
And then we also have, which are the encounter cards and
requisition cards.
Yep, I'm glad you two know the names.
I'd be worried if we didn't.
Yeah, yeah. So again, nice, really nice quality kind of linen and finish to them.
And the encounter cards, they've all got little icons in the bottom corner. So they, when you play one of the cases, you will, put together a deck made up of, a combination of the different icons. Which means that every playthrough is different. So you might, for example, use 3 blue cards, and I think there are 8 blue cards in there. So you'll switch it up every time you play.
Excellent. So yeah, so the game itself, for all its how many case files are in here? Sorry, did you say? There's 6 case files in, but then there is multiple playthroughs of each case.
The initial, the core one, which is used in the tutorial. You'll generally play it in the tutorial, but then you can play it again, and it will be different. You'll kind of know the broad strokes of the story, but the detail, the agents you're using, the number of players, the way the encounter cards come out, the way the Deck of Doom comes out, all these things will influence the game. We were saying in the other video, we've played that scenario countless times. It's different every time.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So the case files come in these sealed packs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, it's you open them up and basically. I'm right in thinking you go through them in order, don't you? There's an order to the card.
No, you can pick your own order. The only thing is that the one of them says, "Hey, do this one first. It's the tutorial," but you can ignore that if you want to. If you're feeling brave, you can jump straight in. Interestingly, when we first were doing it, I think when we tested it with you even, they had icons with numbers A to G on them, but that was just because they were 6 letters that we had. We've got rid of those. We've replaced them with Etruscan runes.
Ooh.
So now there's no way of knowing which one's first, which I think is much better. It means that you can just do what you like.
Yeah.
Interesting fact, we've run out of runes. We've just handed over the last expansion, and thankfully we just had enough different runes.
Just had enough runes for all of the case files, Deck of Doom cards, encounter cards, requisition cards.
If Magic didn't need any more expansions, we'll need to come up with a new alphabet.
You're going to have to go a double rune.
Exactly, yeah.
That's literally where we are right now.
So we also have, which I didn't expect to see in the retail version, actually, these little sort of the bases for the miniatures. So if we
would you care to try one?
I would love to, actually. Yeah.
They're really snug. Really,
would you
really
like to choose a colour, Sophie?
Well, if it's Hellboy, it has to be red.
There we go then.
That just seems wrong otherwise. But
so when you pick your agent at the start of the game, you will slide the your base clip on there. See, nice and snug. And then you'll take the same coloured priority token and cubes, and then that's your colour, and then you'll play with that from there on.
And that's a nice and like if you're moving it around, it's not going to fall off. That is a bugbear of mine when I'm playing board games. If I pick a thing up and stuff like physically falls off of it, so you have to be like.
Again, I'm going to be professional. Not professional. I'm not going to mention the game. There's a game we're playing at the moment. And oh my god, the base clip's just... Oh, it's gone. Yep, you have to slide yourself around the board. But again, what's also quite nice is the clips mean that you know where the agents are. You very immediately go, that's an agent, that's an enemy, you know.
Yeah, so you're going to always distinguish them from the minions, but also it means that if you're someone who in certain gaming groups, at least I've played in, you kind of get your own colour. So even if you try playing, you play Abe one time and Liz the next, you're like, but I'm the blue one. So that's always you. So you can really like build up a bit of a story.
Absolutely.
I didn't realise that was such a big thing till recently. And local to me, there's a board game cafe just opened, and they had a Kickstarter for it. And one of the Kickstarter pledges you could pledge was that you could pick a colour, and there was a certificate went up inside that whenever you come in, you're always blue or you're always yellow. Yeah, it was such a good thing.
That's such great.
I was at a board game cafe a while ago, and I realised that we'd all turned up just unintentionally, all wearing bright primary colours, all different ones. Like, well, we know which colours we all have to be then.
Yeah, and then someone else joined us, and they were also wearing blue, and we were like, "You're letting the side down."
That's it now. Yeah, you can't play it.
Go home and change.
Leave.
So these are the tokens. You've
got your action cubes, and your marker cubes. So marker cubes get used for all sorts of different things, but your action cubes, you spend them during the round to do different things.
And what's also awesome is they're in little plastic baggies as well. Nice to keep them in as well.
I think a really nice thing as well to mention is that with the marker cubes just being like generic markers for various things, it's been a real pleasure writing all the case files and finding out really weird and innovative ways to use the marker cubes as a component within the game. And we've done a lot of work to make sure that the marker cubes and the HQ board and every case file plays differently. So
every case is a different thing. And what's lovely, I mean, as we've been going into the weirder, wackier expansions, we've recently... we haven't written it. One of our freelancers, a chap called Edwin, has written the Hellboy in Mexico expansion, which I think is a Kickstarter exclusive. It's not exclusive. It's a one print run. So it's Kickstarter. They're going to sell it shows, that kind of thing, and that is great fun because it's all focused around luchadors, and so everything is about doing like wrestling moves and things. And it uses a load of the components in whole different ways. It's like, this is really clever. It's so nice to kind of see the ideas that we had for this taken and played around with in a whole different way. Really satisfying.
And we've really challenged ourselves with every expansion to try and approach it in different ways. And so every expansion feels like a different series of case files.
One of the ones in Darkness Calls, which will be hitting retail, I'm sure, at some point down the line, is so wacky and different. So if you come up with this idea, I was like, that's genius. I'm not going to spoil it because half the fun is you... I wish I could put a little camera in every box and watch people's reactions when they get to the case files. Because, I mean, during playtesting, I was getting distracted by just going, oh, the thing's about to happen. Oh, it happened. And like, hearing someone across the room go, what? It's so much fun.
There's even some in the core box though. This box.
There's one in particular that I'm thinking of,
where it just totally changes all the rules on their head. And people, when we were watching people playtest it, people were like, "What? What do we have to do now?" And it was so satisfying to do it. We've been really challenging ourselves, and with things like the marker cubes being very generic, that's given us so much flexibility. So when you play through all of the case files in here, it will really be very different in flavour, while trying to embody what Hellboy is,
which is, let's face it, wacky and different every time you read it, which is half the fun.
I mean, visually, it feels very Hellboy. The miniatures are beautiful. The card, sort of the tiles, and all of the different cards in the game look beautiful. And I know when I played the version, it's been obviously refined and improved upon since then. But it felt like Hellboy then as well. So it's only going to be better as well.
I can't wait to get this out the table. We'll have to play a game again. We'll do it. We'll get the three of us. Maybe get Adam back, who was in the last video. That's 4 players. We'll do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent stuff.
So what I would say is sometimes if you kind of miss out on the Kickstarter, you kind of regret it a little bit. What I would say is that for the core retail box, there's a fantastic amount in there. The quality is absolutely beautiful. You're not going to feel you missed out.
No, not at all.
You can go and get the expansions and buy them later, but you're going to be blown away when you see the quality of this.
Pace yourself, play through this, then when the expansion comes out, get the expansion, go to the next thing.
Of course not. So by the time you see this should be either already at retail or just about to hit retail. So let me know down in the comments. Is it something that you're going to pick up? Did you already back the Kickstarter, or are you looking to pick this up for the first time and get some Hellboy on?
Why not both?
Why not both? Yeah. Why choose?
Absolutely.
So thank you again, Sophie. Thank you, James. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks very much. I'll see you all in the next one.